Imagine this. Right now, there's an idea sitting in your phone, an idea that could literally change your life, but you're ignoring it. And the strangest part? Almost everyone does the same thing. People get a flash of inspiration, feel hyped for 2 minutes, and then instantly drop it. Why does that happen? Because the moment you try to start, your brain switches into catastrophe mode. I need a website, a logo, a team, money. Should I quit my job? And boom, your thoughts freeze like the whole system just crashed. Ideas don't die. Attempts do. Most people choose the path of endless preparation, huge plans, months of shaping concepts, building the perfect product. And when they finally launch, what do they get? Silence. Total silence. No interest, no feedback, no movement. The painful part? They already spent months building something nobody cared about in the first place. The world has changed. Today, creating a product is not the problem. Tools like Shopify, Notion, Webflow, and AI make it a matter of clicks. The real challenge is understanding what people actually want, not what feels promising in your head. That's exactly why the Lean Startup exists. A simple approach that helps you start fast, without overthinking, without chaos, and without waiting for the mythical, perfect moment. If you're used to burying your ideas in a dusty drawer, now's the time to break that cycle. Do you know when most projects start dying? The exact moment a founder becomes convinced they understand what people want before talking to a single person. That's the point where a startup can already be buried. Most people imagine success like this. Build the dream product, beautiful, polished, complex. But the market doesn't care about beauty. It cares about usefulness. And it judges instantly. The script is almost always the same. The creator adds features nobody asked for, polishes details nobody notices, and builds a plan based on feelings instead of real data. Then the product launches and demand simply isn't there. The root cause is simple. People start from confidence, not from validation. A startup isn't a monolith. It's a sequence of steps, and every step must tell you, yes, keep going, or no, turn around. So here's the core principle of the new approach. No idea is correct until the market confirms it. You can be hardworking, ambitious, talented, but if you're running in the wrong direction, all that effort only gets you lost faster. And this is where the key tool appears, the minimum viable product, the thing that shows real human reactions instead of your fantasy about them. Ready for a truth most people avoid? Your first product will almost always be weak. And that's not failure, that's the natural first step. The mistake is trying to skip that step. People lock themselves at home for months, obsess over interfaces, redo designs, rewrite code, and never show anything to anyone. Then they finally come out to the audience and get emptiness. Not surprising. Predictable. The right approach is not building a castle, it's creating a tiny version that answers one question. Is there interest? That's what an MVP is, a minimum viable product. Very simple, sometimes almost primitive, but it shows reality. Dropbox started with a simple video demo, no code, no product. People saw the idea and said, yes, we want this. The founder of Zappos tested online shoe demand by photographing offline stores. No warehouses, no logistics, no automation. MVP is not about checking product quality. It's about checking whether the market even exists. And right now, your task is simple. Figure out the smallest possible version of your idea you can build and test in the next few days. Stop guessing. Start seeing. Want to know what breaks even the most promising projects? Not lack of ideas, but what happens after the MVP. People just wait, as if results will show up on their own. But the real work begins right after your first mini launch. The core of the lean approach is the cycle. Build, measure, learn. Not theory, not intuition. The cycle. Here's how it looks. You make a tiny change, let people try it, watch what they do, not what they say, and make decisions based on behavior. Most people fail at one thing. They don't measure. They create, but don't analyze. It's like playing a game blindfolded and hoping luck will guide you. Examples show this clearly. Dropbox validated interest using a video and reaction numbers. Buffer tested willingness to pay with a simple pricing page. Airbnb discovered growth wasn't blocked by the website, but by terrible photos. In every case, the conclusions didn't match expectations. And that's normal, that's what the cycle is for, to kill assumptions. Your main task after the MVP is not to confirm your dreams, but to find out what users actually value. If you're not measuring, you're moving blindly. And blind steps rarely lead anywhere good. Here's what truly separates a living startup from a dead one. Understanding its hidden assumptions. Initial interest is just the surface. The real question is why people reacted at all. Imagine you sold your first candles. Cool, right? Not really. Unless you know what exactly drove the purchase, the data means nothing. Was it the price? The scent? The packaging? A lack of alternatives? A one-time impulse or the start of a habit? Those are the real questions. Strong companies think the same way. Dropbox checked whether people understood the idea of file sync. Zappos checked whether customers trusted an unknown store. Every test revealed assumptions that could completely break the idea. And this is where the scariest word in startup culture shows up, pivot. But a pivot is not defeat. It's the adult reaction to new information. Twitter started as a podcasting service until the team noticed people cared more about short messages. Instagram was a bloated app until the founders removed everything except photo sharing because that was the only thing users consistently loved. The lesson is simple. Keep only what people choose on their own. Cut everything that doesn't deliver value, even if it's your favorite part. Pivot the move that saves ideas. Get ready for this. Sometimes the best way to save an idea is to stop clinging to it. And this is where the scariest word in startups appears, pivot. A pivot isn't failure. It's a maneuver. You gathered data, realized people want something different from what you're offering. That means it's time to turn the wheel. That's how giants are born. Twitter? Originally, it wasn't Twitter at all. It was a podcasting service called Audio. Then Apple entered the podcast space, and the project was basically doomed. But the team noticed something unexpected. Users reacted strongly to short status-style messages, so they shifted the entire direction. That's how Twitter came to life. Instagram? It started as an app called Bourbon. Meetups, check-ins, photos. A messy bundle of features. People ignored everything except the photos. So the founders cut 90% of the product and left just one thing, photo sharing. You know the rest. The message is simple. A pivot isn't abandoning your dream, it's moving toward what actually works. If users consistently gravitate toward one feature, double down on it. If they ignore half of what you're building, cut it without regret. The key is to love the problem, not your original solution. That's how you avoid going down with a sinking ship. Here's the final and probably the most important moment of this whole video. If you don't understand your key metrics, your entire project turns into a guessing game. And guessing is the fastest way to burn out. Tens of thousands of startups collapse not because the idea was bad, not because the team was weak, but because the founders were staring at the wrong signals. Likes, views, comments, shares, they feel good, they create an illusion of movement. But they don't tell you whether your product is alive. Real progress is measured differently. 1. Conversion. Not how many people arrived, but how many acted. Bought, registered, subscribed. 1,000 visitors mean nothing if only 2 of them move. 2. Retention. Do people come back? This is the ultimate truth teller. If they don't return, you didn't solve a real problem. You provided a momentary distraction. 3. Customer acquisition cost. How much does it cost you to bring one user into the system? If the cost is higher than the value they create, then every new user digs your financial hole deeper. That's not a business, that's a leak. 4. Churn. How many people leave? A rising churn rate is not a statistic, it's an alarm siren telling you something is fundamentally broken. Each metric is a compass. Every number is a direction. They don't flatter your ego, they show you reality. But here's the real truth. You can consume all the methods, all the frameworks, all the startup wisdom, and nothing will move until you do. So start small. Build the simplest MVP you can imagine. Put it in front of real people. Watch how they behave. Adjust. Improve. Pivot when necessary. Repeat. Move toward what shows signs of life, not toward what only looks good in your head. If this video was valuable, hit like, subscribe, and comment which idea you're going to test first. See you in the next one.